welcome back to the channel. My name is Holly and I'm now a qualified clinical psychologist working in the UK. As you've seen from today's title, we will be talking through some reflections about finishing the DClinPsy and just a bit of an update as to what I've been up to in case anyone's interested over the last few weeks. So I finished my doctorate in September 2024 and it's now October 2024. So I've had about 3 weeks off, which has been really lovely. I just knew that I couldn't go straight into a job. I needed a bit of space to just and recharge and just a bit of time. And I'm so grateful that I had that. I'm really, really grateful that I was able to do that. But I've tried to fill a lot of the few weeks with doing some things. So I feel like I'm still, getting through some of the list of things that I wanted to do over the last 3 years and haven't managed to get to. Lots of it is including like house renovations and things. Managed to do a bit of that. But mainly I've done a lot of like resting. So I've like gone to a couple of spa days. I've been with friends and family. I've been to a hen do, those sorts of things. And also kind of got myself some new me items like a bag and some work shoes and like just treated myself a little bit because I realised I could just about do that with 3 weeks unpaid. I've had lots of messages on Instagram recently about my jewellery. So my jewellery game must have just been a bit poor, but I've had people going, oh, where did you get your necklaces from? And I feel really lucky to have partnered with Anna Luisa Jewellery on this video actually. And these pieces are stunning. They're so beautiful and they really fall into that I'm going to really treat myself after getting through quite an intense course. So they've got some really high quality items on there that you can have a look at and that are really affordable actually, because we know that psychology is not a particularly lucrative career perhaps, particularly if you're going to be in the NHS. So they're really affordable prices, and also if you're kind of eco inclined, they're carbon neutral, which is brilliant. And their designs are really unique. I know I'm wearing an H necklace, which is great because you can get the stuff that you really want, but also there's some really beautiful, unique designs on there. So anyway, I've left a link at the top of the description. So if you are interested, there's a 2-year warranty on all products as well. So that is always helpful because I think sometimes if we don't take the best care of our jewellery, it's really helpful to have that kind of fallback. I've left a link in the description below, so at the top of the box below, to have a little look for yourself. So definitely do that if you want to. But beyond this, apart from treating myself, what have I actually been doing? I have been trying to rest. I have. Actually, the last 3 years have been really intense. And towards the end, I really did feel like I was kind of limping over the line rather than charging over the line, if you like. So having 3 and a bit weeks off, it's the longest amount of time I've ever had off, and probably the longest amount of time I will ever have off again. And I really thought, probably naively, that I would feel rejuvenated and really ready to run full speed ahead into the new role and tackle everything and really go for it. But one of the things I've been reflecting on recently is that actually that's not a very healthy way of looking at things. And I think to survive in the NHS culture, or anywhere really, but particularly in clinical psychology in the NHS, I think you have to pace yourself, and running 100% at everything is simply not sustainable. And I'm not telling anybody anything new here. I think it just has taken me quite a long time to learn that lesson. So I'm really trying to go into the new role thinking I will get up to a running speed probably at some point, but I don't have to do that now. And it's okay to just like chill a bit. It feels really wrong to say that almost because everything is very demanding in the NHS in terms of it, and it's challenging because the waiting lists are what they are, and you just want to scoop up as many patients as you can, take them off waiting lists. But it's not always that simple. We can't always do that, and it's certainly not sustainable. So I think I felt really burnt out in a lot of ways, and still do actually in lots of ways. And it's going to take me some more time to feel like I've fully healed and sort of recharged from that. But that's okay. That's completely okay. The next reflection really was around, completing the DClin and how much can change over those 3 years. You don't realise that how much is going to change actually. And I remember going into the DClin thinking, I am going to do every assignment I'm going to work into the middle of the night if I have to make sure every assignment is perfect. I'm never going to get corrections. I'm going to do every additional qualification I can. I'm going to publish everything I write. No, I wasn't going to do that. I haven't done that. Not acceptable. I was never going to be able to live up to those expectations that I'd set myself, that the enthusiastic pre-training me had set for myself. And I suspect that, and this might be controversial, I'm not sure, I suspect the DClin is so stressful and intense by design to kind of force trainees to learn that that is not a healthy way of being, because you physically can't, I don't think, give your all to every assignment. It's not like undergrad where it's kind of paced out in a different way, and that's kind of what's expected of you. I think a lot of the focus on the DClin, perhaps not so much with research perhaps is a bit more like you need to have things right, but the other assignments for me felt very like good enough is good enough, and the corrections were like, yeah, like you could add this in and this would be helpful. I think it was far more measured and realistic rather than a uni assignment where you don't get corrections, but the feedback can often be like quite obtuse and not very useful. I think all of the feedback I had on the assignments when I did get corrections inevitably was actually quite helpful. So yeah, I think that's been interesting. I do think obviously that courses would probably benefit from looking at just how intense it can be, because it does have a danger of kind of tipping into unmanageable at times over the 3 years. But overall, I do feel like I have adopted quite a more relaxed attitude to my work. And that's not to say that I'm sloppy or that I care less. It's not that at all. It's just I'm kind of less sort of neurotic about it. And I'm more like trusting probably in my own ability. That's probably more what it is. I think I always thought that you had to work 100% to get a good result. And that's not true, actually. You can work 80%, which is still a really decent effort, and get a result that's completely acceptable. That's okay. Not just acceptable, sometimes it's a good result as well. So I think it's just adjusted the way that I look at workload and pressure and what pressure I'm going to put on myself as well. I think it's kind of more about being protective of myself in some ways. Like, people often ask how we cope as psychologists, and being boundary is probably one of those biggest lessons that I've learned on the course. And I have actually learned to say no when I need to. I'm not 100% there. I'm not like 100% doing well at that. And that is definitely something I want to watch out for in my new role. But I think the team that I'm going into are really supportive about that sort of stuff. And they know what it's like to finish training, and that it's really easy to just go, yeah, okay, I'll do that. And rather than, actually, I can't quite do that now. So yeah, that's definitely been something I've learned. And finally, and I do have more that I want to say about the DClin and courses, but I want to think really carefully about what I say and how I say it and why I'm saying it, because it's far more nuanced than courses are too intense and need to be made simpler. It's more nuanced than that. Or courses don't care about trainees, because it's not that either. It's none of those things are true, but sometimes that can be how it feels. But I want to just think a bit carefully about how I talk about the courses. If you've got any particular questions about the course, I absolutely pop them down in the comments and I'll respond to you. And it may help me come up with what I might want to say about the courses, but it'd be really good to hear about what you're interested in. But yeah, I think one of the things the course has helped me with is getting to know myself better than I ever have. And I do believe that going through that pressure and stress does help to kind of reveal who you are. Like they always say, people kind of justify really intense things for diamonds are made under pressure. And that kind of is true in lots of ways. I think you find out who you are under pressure. It doesn't necessarily justify the pressure. I don't know. Yeah, there's more nuance than that. I do still have some way to go, but being a work in progress is completely fine. That's another thing that training's really taught me, is that, we are all trying our best. And even people that you think are really together, like you may think that I'm really together and know what I'm doing. A lot of the time I don't feel that way. And when I talk to supervisors and, you know, people that have been working in psychology for decades, they're still like, yeah, I feel like I don't know what I'm doing, even though they absolutely do. So I think that is just quite a natural part of perhaps who we are in psychology, but also just, yeah, overall who we are as people, as humans. But I didn't really believe 3 years ago that being a work in progress was okay. I think training has definitely taught me that. So yeah, they're my main current reflections that I would have. If you have any other questions, do drop them down in the comments below. I think I will continue making content as long as people want it. So do let me know what you want to see. And I just want to give one last shout out to Anna Louisa Jewelry for partnering with me for this video, and check out my favorite, really long lasting and affordable jewelry using the link below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.